Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. Well, in response to the 9 video series that we have, which this I guess will be the 10th one, in regards to HOCD, intrusive thoughts, transient thoughts, OCD, HOCD, negative thoughts, we have had questions in regards to what is the roots of the inferiority that we said. And by the way, this is going to be, again, as the original series was, we mentioned in that this is about heterosexuals having HOCD. Heterosexuals who have this illusory, these thoughts popping up to their heads that they are homosexual or they could turn gay or these sort of things. So this is about a heterosexual gender, and whoever wishes to see if the concept could help them out in whatever gender they are, and they're having intrusive thoughts, so they could see if this would be also applicable to them and useful to them. So I have written some notes on that question, and I would use it to have a better flow and see how we can discuss it together and add it to our series of the intrusive thoughts. So in order to understand a little bit further about the roots of this inferiority toward other male, which we heterosexuals could think of, they say that when they see another male and they're into the glitch of the HOCD and intrusive thoughts, the intrusive thoughts get a hold of it when they encounter other male, or they see another male, or they know another male, or images, that it runs with sexual images and sexual thoughts and suggestions and so on, and we want to discuss that. We've discussed that comes from the inferiority toward the other male, and we want to discuss the roots of it a little bit further here. So the cure in finding the roots of these things. The cure is in finding out what causes us to feel inferior towards other people, other men. And what we dislike and what we most protect is what moves us into fear of what we dislike, and anxiety of protection, what we most cherish. So if we focus that the roots of this inferiority comes from what we most dislike, which is in the case of the heterosexuals, is to become a homosexual or having questions of being homosexual or turning gay. And the most, what they love and want to protect is what they most cherish, which is being who they are. So when we have intrusive homosexual thoughts, and this is what we most dislike, hence we fear such inclination. So that is identifying what the fear is all about. It's about what we most dislike and the inclination of homosexuality. So this fear gives the feeling of fear toward what we can what can be instrumental. Okay, this fear gives the feeling of fear towards what can be the instrument of this intrusive thought, and that would be the other men. So this fear gives the feeling of fear towards what can be the instrument of these intrusive thoughts, meaning the instrument of these thoughts would be other men, which when you have an encounter or in proximity of them, the intrusive thoughts could run with sexual thoughts and so on and so forth. So the fear of becoming homosexual tries to find what is the instrument that can make this thought to become real. And what is that? That's another male. So the other male would be the instrument of this thought to become real, which is they're the same gender, which makes it the homosexual idea. So they are the instrument. Our fear looks for what's the instrument that could make my fear come true, would be other male. So hence our fear from homosexuality, which is based on being a heterosexual, our natural gender and interest, hence the defensive mechanism being heightened as we are so protective of what we love and what we love to be and what we are pleased with, and it is our identity. So natural defensive thoughts and systems are always in place and active. So we identified the fear, which is turning gay, and we identified what we most cherish, which is being who we are, heterosexual, and we want to protect that. So that's the one that we want to protect, and that's the one that we are afraid of. This fear gives importance to the person that can be instrumental to this fear to become real threat. So the fear that we have of being something that we are not, the fear that we have as a heterosexual, the thought pops up that we could become gay, or we're heterosexual, or we're living in denial, and all that is the fear of not being what we actually are, gives importance to the person that can be instrumental to this fear to become a real threat. What is that? That's another male. As we all have a mind that is in state of paranoia, we all pretty much living in a paranoia world. We've been conditioned through our childhood to live in fear, and for all the reasons that we discussed in the other videos. So this fear of homosexuality being a natural enemy of what we are gives power to the other male who are obvious to our fear, who are oblivious to our fear themselves, yet makes us think that they have any role in this fear of ours, hence makes us feel they are superior as they have the power to threaten our natural state of being as a heterosexual. So these other male don't have a clue that we are feeling inferior towards them because they don't have a clue how we think that we see that our fear can be possibly turned into reality through the instrument that these people are. They don't have a clue. They don't think they're superior. It is us who illusory give them that state of superiority that causes us to feel inferior towards them. But they don't think that way themselves. So you gotta be mindful of the fact that it is you who actually gives them that echelon. It is not them, they actually are superior at all. This fear is what makes them, in our mind, superior and we inferior, which leads in us having these feelings of inferiority about them, and hence create submissive feelings to save our being as a heterosexual. So we feel like we need to be submissive to someone that could have the power to turn the intrusive thoughts to reality. Therefore, we naturally feel like we have to be submissive to them, feel inferior, so they won't become capable of turning the intrusive thoughts to reality. It's like we are afraid of the teacher, so we think the teacher is so important, or afraid of certain rules, or in the old times they were afraid of religious leaders, and they would do what they want because they would wish things will go right for them, so they will comply to thinking that they are the most powerful, they are the powerful. So in other words, it's our mind that actually does that. So where were we? Okay, so that makes this feeling to save our being as a heterosexual, making us think that they have any power over us, while it is our fear that has given them power over us. So we're actually giving them the power that we think they have. Why? Because we are fearful of intrusive thoughts becoming real. So our fear of being homosexual is giving power to other male, because they would be the instrument for these thoughts to actually become a threat, a real threat, in our own illusory mind. So hence, it is our fear that we are sucking up to, or imagining being superior to us, and it's not anyone else or by anyone else that causes us to feel inferior. It is our own fear that we are sucking up to and imagining being superior to us. And in fact, no other male has any power over us but our fear of not being able to be heterosexual, due to our doubting mind. And this is because most of us have doubting minds, that we can't accept or understand that we're blessed to be who we want to be. We've always been that, and we love it. And so we have a problem accepting things that are going great in our lives. That's a doubting mind. Otherwise, everybody is happy for what they are. But in some of us, we have a problem actually believing that things are going so well for us. So we have a doubting mind, and that helps becoming more fearful of not having what we have or losing what we have. It could be anything. In this case, we're talking about these sort of intrusive thoughts. And so due to our doubting mind, is what makes us imagine or have these illusory urges or intrusive thoughts. So I read it again, just so it won't be interrupted by my explanations. It says, hence, it is our fear that we are sucking up to, or imagining being superior to us, and it is not anyone else. And in fact, no other male has any power over us but our fear of not being able to be heterosexual, due to our doubting mind, is what makes us imagine or have these illusory urges or intrusive thoughts. Our fear is what makes us feel inferior, not the person or personality of other male, but the fact that they are male and homosexuality is between two males. Therefore, we operate on the level of fear, and we think it is them that we are inferior to. But it is fear that we are inferior to. And fear gives illusory power to other males, which then intrusive thoughts imagine them as powerful and run with it, with the thought of that we are weak, they are superior, we are inferior, submissive, and they are alpha. While it is our own alpha character that creates these fears, which acts as if they, the other male, are the power, but it is fear that we are inferior to, and not the other male, who are the vessel, who are the vessels our fear is giving power to. So it is not the other male that are superior and having the power. It is fear that we are inferior to. Our own fear is what we are inferior to, and not the other males that we are inferior to. Because these other males are the ones that are the vessels our fear is giving power to, thinking these could be the instrument that could take away what we love to have. Therefore, our fear gives power to them, and then we feel we are inferior to them, but in fact, we're inferior to the source, which is our own fear about this whole illusory thing that has gotten us in the vortex of thinking and believing these thoughts, which to begin with, they really don't exist. They're just thoughts. So if we can understand this, the roots of inferiority toward other male, then the intrusive thoughts would not have such an easy time to grab onto an idea, a sexual image, a sexual idea, and then run with it. And remember, because thought is only one, as soon as you see another male and you have these intrusive thoughts operating, you see their looks, good looks. You see their any part of them then related to sexuality, because this is how thoughts are all connected. So all you need is just look at one thing and the rest of the thoughts are available. So you look at their mouth, you think of kissing. You look at their muscle, you think of sex, because you attribute your own muscles to sex with women, and therefore you only associate that with that meaning. So you see somebody else with the muscle, quickly the word meaning sex comes to the picture, and then the intrusive thoughts run with it. So these are all connected, because as we remember, we said in video 8 that there is one thought. So that's why it's so easy for thoughts to go anywhere on a day that OCD glitch is appearing. So I hope that was something for you to ponder on, and hopefully these will be a good, helpful series to clear your mind and understand that you're the alpha, and your fear of not being what you really are is causing all this trouble, which you simply should just not pay attention to thoughts. Thoughts are a dime a dozen. They just, if you don't pay attention to them and you just dare them, tell them, dish out what you got, I'm not afraid of you, they eventually see you do not engage with these thoughts, and they see there's no interest and no attention to them, they fall by the wayside, and you'll get your freedom and balance back and be happy as you should deserve it. I'll talk to you soon.